Yes. Good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome to Show Business happening right here on Spice FM. And you're listening to Ammar, and Jalf is having a laugh coming in on his private jet. I think it'll be landing very soon, so we'll hear from him in a minute. And yeah, you're listening to Ammar. Each week we bring you some news, views, and one or two clues from the business world. Asian Business Connections aims to connect, support, and promote the Asian and wider communities. Whether you have an existing business, just starting a business, want to talk business, we can help. We can help. Yeah. Um, um, so what's been going on in the world? Well, it is the 30th of August, uh, 2024. Um, and yeah, um, it's been a crazy week. Obviously, it was um, the Mela and Amit Ponji and the Spice FM team done an amazing job of uh, making the magic happen. It was great to see lots of different people and communities there, and lots of organizations represented as well. So, great job, well done. Um, Weather was a bit hitty missy. I think the Sunday wasn't as nice as the Monday, but the rides and everybody else coming together to celebrate culture and each other was incredibly timely. So that was good. What else has been going on? Well, it was the bank holiday, um, and which means it has been a shorter working week. Uh, and um, and apologies because I'm rubbish at multitasking. So I am now trying to text Jeff to see where he is. Yeah, the shorter week. What does that mean? Well, whilst it's only been a 4 day working week, it feels as if it's an incredibly longer and harder week because you're cramming everything in to that period. Um, what's been going on with the headlines? Well, let's have a look. Some mixed messages, really. I was just looking at this. So let me share my screen and show you this presentation that I've just allegedly winged together, I was told, um, curiously. But let me share this with you and start talking through this. And I will get a bit more cohesive in a minute, I promise. I'm just waiting for Jaff to come in and make the magic happen. So, what else is going on in the world? Well, there's an element of economic confidence, um, which is interesting. Business confidence in the northeast jumped um, significantly in August, reaching the highest level of any UK region or nation. This indicates a positive economic outlook for businesses in the region. So let's just have a look at where that data and detail has come from. And it's actually came from Insider Media and it was published today. So Northeast business confidence jumped in August to the strongest of any UK nation or region. Can you remember Blue Thunder as well, though? There
Blue
was
Thunder? No, I can't remember Blue Thunder.
Yeah, so there was Airwolf was the original super cool one, and Airwolf was the super cool one, and then Blue Thunder was the the other one had a different type of person. The gap narrows between London and Northeast for top GCSE grades. So London and the Northeast continue to have the highest and lowest proportion of GCSE entries awarded grade 7A or above in England. And the gap between the two regions has narrowed for the first time in nearly a decade. So GCSE pass rate this year, northeast of England, 65.2%, which actually, given the fact that these young people would have started their GCSEs in COVID, so they would have entered year 7 4 years ago, have come out the other side, and now in year 10 and 11, it's amazing how well they've done, but there still is a huge gap. And then the final point here is no, so interesting, very curious when we have technical glitches. But anyway, you were listening to last week's show for whatever reason, started playing. But I'm delighted that Grazia Nieto has joined us. I'll rename Grazia to Mr. Jalf Ali. Good morning, Jalf.
Good morning, Ammar. How you doing?
Yeah, did you private jet, helicopter,
I
speedboat? What got delayed?
got here pretty fast, but no, I just had to drop a car into the garage to do a little bit of works, and they were so busy that by the time they got to me, it delayed everything. So
No problem. So you're sorry that you're late. Have you
apology.
got a note?
Yeah,
I've got a note.
I've got a note that's on its way.
Did you ever forge a note? You probably don't want to say this live on air, but
Forge a
anyway,
note? No.
yeah.
What?
Did you ever forge a dear Mr. I don't know, Mr. Henderson, no, whoever it was, or
The Henderson.
Jaff cannot. Mr. Jaff is unable to do PE in his underpants and vest.
Nah, I don't recall, to be honest. I don't think so. I think late notes. What were late notes for? We were just saying that if you were late for a class, that you had a note from the parents. Was that in essence what it was? Or can't remember, to be honest, Ammar.
Just in the good old days,
Yeah.
it was like, I mean, I don't know what you were like with PE, but PE wasn't favored very much by ethnic individuals.
Really?
I'm talking,
Nah. I was big into my PE stuff.
were you?
Oh yeah, I can remember. I can tell you a tale of PE. One day I went to PE, right, and you forgot your PE kit, and then they have like a bag of PE kits that they just keep that just in case someone forgets the PE kit. And I was getting a bit flustered because the teacher was kicking off saying, "Oh, why haven't you got your PE kit and stuff?" And then honestly, I had to rush and put something on, some shorts, and then as I was running, I could smell something, and the shorts that I picked up. Oh my God! It was I just couldn't believe it. You know where I'm going with it, but it just had poo everywhere on those shorts, and the thing is, I couldn't even tell. When you can't exactly stop the match and say, "Well, hold on, sir, I've got to go and change my kit again because
I've pooed my pants."
Yeah, basically, and it wasn't even me.
Yeah, oh, no, you're just saying that. You just said that. It's that's disgusting. I mean, I don't think there's that big of an age difference, but one of our traumatic, and I say our because I wasn't alone. So unlike there being a bag of kit, Jaff, we were forced to do PE in our underwear.
Really?
Yeah.
But if you didn't go with your kit,
yeah.
So you had your Y-fronts on and you were like running around with your Y-fronts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that would have
How
been
shocking is that? I think that's abuse. I feel that's a case. I feel traumatized. I mean, gosh, it was so traumatic, and it wasn't just me. It was like girls and boys, as in, and I don't think it was throughout. Um, Definitely, in sort of year seven as they describe it now, or whatever it is. But yeah, it definitely happened. Um, and it was so poor. And no wonder people wrote notes like to
Mm.
go, yeah, here's a note from my mother. And someone's actually written mother, right, as opposed to is the thing. Anyway, um, a very warm welcome to you and to all of our listeners. I was just sharing some of the actual headlines, which I don't think, but obviously it's news, right? But uh, one of the headlines here is economic confidence, Jeff,
Mm.
and um, Northeast business confidence jumped in August to the strongest of any UK nation or region, according to new research. The latest business barometer from Lloyds Bank Commercial Banking found that companies in the region reported higher confidence in their business prospects month on month, up 13 points to 65%. Looking ahead to the next 6 months, company identified their top target areas for growth as introducing new technology, entering new markets, and investing in the team. Martin Kendrick, regional director, said not only is the Northeast leading the UK in confidence, this marks a third month in a row where confidence has strengthened. I don't know. And then just to balance that, Jeff, I think there's a conversation here around there are several key points regarding how the Northeast is addressing insolvency issues among local businesses. So there's rising insolvency rates. The Northeast has seen a 25% increase in companies facing advanced or critical financial distress. This was at the end of 2023. The sectors most affected at that time: construction, real estate, things like that. So that's
Um, I'm not.
crazy. How do you feel about
I
business confidence?
feel that for me that does not make any sense. That's not the reality of the real world, and I think someone's just plucking figures. Maybe it's for a particular. I mean, statistics, right, Ammar? You can make them what you want. I think if you want to focus on a
Oh
particular
yeah, yeah, oh, yeah,
particular group
yeah.
of industries, but across the board, I can tell you categorically, I think that's false because we got some figures through from the city centre, the footfall in the city centre. The footfall in Newcastle is actually down by 15%, like for like year on year, and compare that to other cities such as Middlesbrough, Darlington, and they remained stable, and that's showing that 15% is a huge number, and that does have an impact on the economy. Now, whether it's having an impact on the retailers or whether it's having an impact on leisure, it most certainly is because of that footfall. Now, could that be because it's summer? Well, no, because it's like for like year on year. So I think when I'm having, I think for sure, leisure and hospitality is is in big trouble. I think even on Grey Street, Ammar, you talk about insolvency. I walked past a very established place next to Las Iguanas. Do you know that skin place next to Las Iguanas? They do like
Uh,
beauty. That's got. But they must have had 4 different businesses within that unit, and they're all they've closed down, and they've got all the bankruptcy information on the windows and stuff. There's other operators. There's the one called Bagnall, which is the opposite Tandoori Nights. There's the place that used to do like fishing stuff. It's been there for years,
yeah,
years.
Bagnall and Kirkwood.
Yep, that's
I'd go and you'd go and get your air guns when they
Yep,
were legal. You'd
yep.
get actually, I remember buying a Rambo knife from them, Jeff.
Well,
Can you
apart
remember
they,
Rambo knife?
yeah, of course, and they're moving out. They're moving out. I think the city centre has become too costly for them, and it's such a there's so many people that are talking about that because it's been there for so long. So the city centre, I think it's struggling a lot. The hospitality, leisure, retail is struggling a lot. Maybe is it? I'm not sure about the tech industries. If the tech areas are making up for the overall making up for the shortfalls in other industries, maybe they are. But for sure, there's some key industries that are really suffering at the moment.
Yeah. No, I agree. I find so a couple of things just on your points there. Um, Data, statistics. If you if you're um, you go out to people, it's like if you go out to a gambler, they're only ever going to talk about their wins, right? They're not going to talk about their losses. So
Mm.
that sort of mentality exists across the board. The likelihood is if your business is on fire, you're not going to sit there and complete a survey, are you? You know, that's one of the things. So who's completed this survey, right? And some of those people that complete the survey, you know, they're the ones who are. So it's all about surveys. It's also about timing. You know, depending upon when you catch me, I'm either in a good mood or a bad mood, right? Everything's rosy, everything's not so rosy. And that's just human personalities and human nature. So you know this research published by Lloyd's, no question about Lloyd's credibility. I just think it's really skewed, and you know if it's the same people who are growing and getting investment from Lloyd's, and Lloyd's is investing in the business, and they're taking on more staff, and they're doing whatever, and it's tech companies and all of that. Well, the likelihood is you're going to keep going. All right, well, you know, my bank manager said, fill this out. It's really helpful. You're doing well. Let's showcase your business. You know, let's put some data and details in. You're going to do that, aren't you?
Mm.
But if you've got all of those businesses that are going bust, the likelihood of them sort of completing a survey and saying, "Oh, I'm going bust," is probably like nothing,
Mm.
isn't it?
Yep. I
Good.
think.
Anyway, so it's quite interesting, is what it is. What else is going on in the world? Well, you know, going back to um, the economic confidence, but some of the organisations actually. Here's some example. Um, Nissan confirmed that all three models produced at its Sunderland plant will be fully electric as part of a £3 billion investment in its EV360 hub. So here's an interesting thing, right? I was talking to someone that I know quite well, and they were sharing who's in the motor industry, and um, the issues and challenges with electric vehicles and how they've been forced to go down, motor industry is being forced to go down this electrification route, and in a sort of um, cost-based analysis where how much does something cost and what's the return on that cost versus petrol engines and things like that. You know, the electric engines in the manufacturing cost and have a bigger impact on the climate than petrol engines. You know, when they're manufacturing, the batteries
Yep.
sadly don't last as long
Yep.
as they could or should, and the minerals and the resources that need to be found and mined to produce these batteries is having a huge impact. So there's almost this element of uh, contradiction.
Mm.
So, and he was sharing that because of all of the issues, he mentioned a car, and I'll not mention a car, but someone who was wealthy bought a car for I think it was £89,000 2.5 years ago, and came in to their dealership, and they offered them £15,000.
Mm.
So
And
it's like how much money?
electric.
Because it was yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
because of the and the value of it and
yeah.
the depreciation.
Mm.
So it's quite interesting. So I mean, it's great that Nissan's continuing to invest and create world class um, vehicles and things like that. I just feel as if um, all a lot of our issues, financial issues, cost of living crisis, can be tracked back to the um, uh, all of the money put into climate, energy, and all of these initiatives that haven't returned any value.
Well, it's not going to return any value as well. And I think it just doesn't make any sense, but they seem to have some kind of a global um, plan that they want everyone to have an electric vehicle, whether the what's it called? Oh, there's a word where you're sat in an electric car, and it's a bit like you're sat in a chamber where there's all this electric around you, and you could get fried any second because it's an electric vehicle. So there's the electricity is conducting around you every single second that you're in the car. Obviously, they'll have another argument, but just think logically, and I just don't doesn't sit right for me. But then you've got all of these plans to save the world and have net zero carbon, this, that, and the other. But Britain as a country, it's so small, it's got such a small footprint in the entire world that you're having all of these things. But unless there's like a homogenous, worldwide, universally accepted agreement, then Little Britain is not going to make much difference. And we seem to be suffering so much to try and implement all of these policies that actually, when you think about it logically, what are you going to really gain in terms of saving the world from its carbon footprint or A, B, C, and D? And some of it is actually very questionable. Are you really saving the environment? You're going to go into these countries and take away all of their minerals, and you got these little kids that have to go into these mines and stuff to get the electric vehicles and get the components for it. It just doesn't make any sense. The damage that they're doing to then say that, oh, we're going to save the world by it, but then what about the damage that you're doing in the first instance?
Yeah,
but the powers made these decisions, and we don't have any say. We just have to accept it. But I think it just doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. I mean, that there's so many strict laws. If you go on, try to order a belt, Ammar, for a watch, and it's been stuck in customs because it's a crocodile skin belt, and they're saying that, well, they need to make sure that the crocodile was there wasn't any cruelty in the way that it was killed.
Was it halal? Was the crocodile halal? Can you
Well,
have a halal?
Can
you have a halal?
Whether they killed it in a halal way or not, but they're saying that they need to be sure that it was there was no cruelty. It was cruelty free. So I mean, how do you kill a crocodile in a non-cruel way? I don't know how they actually kill them. Is it like stunned, or are they shot, or do they ask them politely?
How would you kill a crocodile?
Huh?
How would you kill a crocodile? I'd kill it with my bare hands.
I think, well, that's what I would try and do. I would have a fight with it, but I mean, I would have thought that they would kill them electronically, or they would hit them, they would gun them. I'm not sure, but whatever way it is, it's a crocodile at the end of the day. So yeah, or alligator was actually, was it alligator strap? I think
That's totally different. That's totally different to a crocodile.
I like
Alligator,
frozen
it's totally different. Yeah, as I was going to say because it's not usually crocodile skin; it's normally
alligator.
alligator skin. Anyway, what you doing wearing alligator skin wrist like watch type whatever it is?
I don't know. I don't know. I just
Is it to
thought
match your boots and your belt? Because you got the boots and the belt.
yeah, but my just
That's
the
it.
point is, it's so much restrictions and everything. It's like everything's
Yeah, but actually, I mean, I wouldn't compare that with the earlier conversation. To be honest, I think from an alligator's perspective, from a civil rights, from a humanity, regardless of the animal, right? I quite like alligators. Um,
well, no,
uh,
I'm sure we all love alligators, but the thing is, what I mean, I don't know. There some of it just doesn't make sense.
no, it doesn't.
If you
You're
really
absolutely
care
right.
about all of these things, I would say first and foremost, care for the human beings first. Don't let human beings be in war zones get obliterated and then think about an alligator. An alligator is an alligator at the end of the day, but I thought that human life should be a lot more valuable. So if we really care about the world, let's care about humanity and humans and make sure that we have a world that's peaceful in all parts of the world instead of thinking about the other animals cruelty free. But what about the humans? Let's have cruelty free humanity. I think let's focus and begin with that first. I think that we seem to be not talking about that, and we seem to be not focusing on that as much, and allowing
Yeah.
lots of horribleness happening. But yet we're there thinking about electric vehicles and alligator skinned and cruelty free here and cruelty free there on creams and A, B, C, and D.
No, I agree. I think it's the world's gone mad a little bit in the sense that um, we on the one hand can see children, young people starving, food banks, all of these things that we've regularly touched upon, people being killed, murdered in a variety of countries, spaces, and places. And then on the other hand, we're looking at all of the bureaucracy and the challenges. I mean, at the end of the day, Brexit is still having such a major impact on us, Jaff. It's crazy, isn't it?
Mm. Yeah, I think so. I think Brexit was it was it was it was it was like caused a lot of issues for the country, didn't it?
Yeah.
In terms of
Oh, Um, and it's still being felt, isn't it? As in resource, skills. I mean, the whole skills thing is um, is causing so many people issues still. And I know we touch upon it regularly. Um, and there is a bit of an exercise that the SME Centre of Excellence is doing um, around identifying challenges with recruitment, retention, progression, and all of that. But actually, it's um, it's really really hard to get the right people. Going back to that motor industry individual who's involved in it, he was saying, "Ammar, he's got people applying for a job. They're like, this is how I can do the job. They demonstrate that they're good for the job, and then they go, oh, but can I work from home?" And they're like, so you're gonna come into a car sales garage selling cars and you want to do that from home?
yeah, yeah, and then they'll talk about human rights and A, B, C, and D if it's
Well, there's reasonable adjustments that you're allowed that you now legally have to make, which is fair enough. I get if if you are able to, and actually, a recent person who's joined our team, um, we've allowed she's asked whether she can work from home for a few days a week, and her supervisor, her manager, sort of said, yeah, um, is what they've done. Um, and but the challenge for me is despite I struggle with working in an open plan office, I still feel as if people developing themselves, people having conversations, people sort of working on the business, stuff happening. You'd be a bit isolated, I think, if you weren't coming in every day and sort of seeing what's going on. And obviously, as a business centre, I mentioned this last week. As a business centre, we can't afford to not have people here because people are coming in for business support.
Mm.
Um, and and they're coming in here to rent offices, the building, and things like that. So we need to have people here.
Yeah, of course, of course. It's more productive. You can be inspired by others. There's discussions that you can have as a collective. There's that element of snowballing where you have one idea spurs another idea, and it's very different about when you're there face to face as opposed to somebody. We've had meetings and one person's on a laptop, but then there's a connection issue
Yeah,
right at that moment where you could have a vital discussion, and that could be fundamental to your business plan. So
yeah,
I think being there, I mean, we're looking to bring a person on board, and similarly, you know, they have a they have a little baby at home, and we can give an allowance for a day, for a period, but they need to be here with us because it's if you're part of the business team, you need to be part around the business team, and it's that positive energy that you get of each other. So I think that was only became a factor during the pandemic. And if you imagine, Ammar, like yourself, you've always been dressed very well. And I remember having conversations reference why. It's just when you dress sharp, your mind is sharp and you feel sharp.
yeah,
And that's the message that you give to the rest of the team. Everyone's kind of gets inspiration from that. But if you're at home and you've got a shirt on and you've got pajama bottoms on, just because
yeah.
no what trousers you wear. And I mean, surely the mentality of that is lackadaisical. You're not going to have the same level of focus, and that again is going to affect how good and well you can do your job and your efficiency and your productivity that's coming out of yourself. So there's so many reasons why you need to be in the workplace to be able to function at your best possible.
Yeah, I think so. And plus, if you're working from home, all of a sudden it's like, all right, well, I can do this and I can do that, and it's great, and whatever else. But then there isn't really a cutoff. There isn't a right, I'm going to the office, I'm not going to the office. I'm trying. It's hard. But I try and protect my evenings and weekends as much as possible, right? So it's family time. Now, if I wasn't leaving the house and if I was constantly at home, and I'm fortunate to have an office at home as well, that I use early in the morning when everybody else is asleep. But it's almost, that where's the work-life balance, right? It's like you're working from home. Well, actually, does that then mean that as an employer, uh, um, your working hours or whatever they could or should be, I'm sat there. I'm not saying I am, but I'm sat there saying, okay, you're working from home. It's like, what time do you stop working from home? What does that even mean? Type of thing. There's an element of that on both sides. As part of that. Anyway, and in regards to uniform or dress codes or whatever it is, I know that if I was sat here in a t-shirt and jeans or whatever it is, my mindset would be totally different. I'd operate incredibly differently, and actually I dress totally differently. I chuckle. My good wife still laughs every time she irons some of my t-shirts that I wear on an evening because there's huge holes in them, right? And she'll go, "I'm going to bin these," and I'm like, "Don't you dare!" I've worn these t-shirts for 20 odd years now or whatever it is. And yeah, of course I could like bin them and buy some new ones and whatever it is. But it just keeps me grounded a little bit, walking around in holy t-shirts, especially when I'm doing it for my own benefit, because I'm not
mm,
wearing these holy t-shirts for anybody else to see. I don't go out in them,
mm,
but it's when I'm in the house, I go down to basics, so I wear these, I actually binned a pair of shorts the other day because there was a hole in them, but the hole was that big that my wife sort of said, "Oh, well, why have you got? I'm not ironing these. I'm not washing these, right? They've been washed and ironed so many times that that they've just frayed. And then I think I sat down and like they just ripped. So anyway, point around dress is military is a great example, right? If I look at the military, so our armed forces, right, they have usually at least three different uniforms, right? The combat MTPs is what they wear when they're in combat, right? They're designed for that. You're ready to fight, or flight or whatever it is. You're getting involved. You're doing all of that, and that's your mindset. So there's no better place to illustrate the power of uniforms. Then have service dress, which is your smart uniform, but it's still a uniform. It's usually put on for parades and such like. And then you have what you call mess dress, which from an external perspective is probably the smartest and most formal of uniforms because you wear it for dinner and proper functions and things like that, military functions. Now, I know that whenever armed forces and including myself, whenever I'm now, fortunate and privileged to wear and put on this uniform, I know if I've got my combat uniform on, I'm going into somewhere, everybody else is training or, they're doing some combat activities or whatever it is. And that's the mindset, right? You're super alert, you're super, like, sort of focused. If you're wearing service dress, you know that it's an element of you being inspected. You know that it's a bit more formal to that. And then if you're wearing your mess dress, it is the most formal element of where you're having events and such like. All of those things, they're there for a reason, right? They're there to help inform the mindset. And that's my point. It's like I'm wearing holy t-shirts on an evening um, because I'm with nature. I'm with, as in it's not about sort of, and it's been totally relaxed and comfortable and humble. But during the day, I'm wearing my suit. On a weekend, I'm wearing t-shirts, trainers, whatever it is, super cash, and and I feel super cash, and I act super cash is the thing, around it. Why are you laughing?
No, I'm just laughing. I'm just trying to visualize you in your designer holy t-shirts, and then to then be very very humble, and then put a suit on and put on £100,000 watch on. Said, yeah, let's go. I'm going into the office now.
It's not real. It's plastic. And it wasn't that much. Anyway, that's your watch. So speak to yourself. No, and just for the purposes of clarity, and there's lots of t-shirts out there. These certainly aren't designer t-shirts. I bought three at the time for £20. They
From
were
the
in sale.
club,
Sorry?
from the officers club.
No, it was actually Levi's. I just loved the fit of these t-shirts, but yeah, as I say, they've like it almost looks as if like someone's ate away at them and whatever else. And one of them, it's like I don't even know how much it's together, but I just do it for myself. This isn't about I'm sharing personal stories, and no one would ever see me in these, other than obviously the wife and the kids. But that it's just for my own benefit. I just think to myself, ground yourself, remain humble, be appreciative. And I'm sat here with two watches. One is a digital, one's an analog. Since I was probably 15, I've worn two watches.
Really?
Um, and one tells me where I'm going. So my digital watch is an Apple, and there's other digital watches, tells me where I'm going. And my other watch that I tracked myself to when I was 35 um, told me where I've come from. So whilst it might be a nice watch, and I'm incredibly grateful for owning such a nice watch, um, it's more a case of sort of me realizing that I came from poverty, abject poverty, worked hard, and that's the fruits of working hard, right? Is that so? Anyway, that's that. Um, so coming back to topic of the week, let's do a quick topic. I'd like to get your views and input onto this, Jaff. Let's give some of our listeners and viewers some top tips here. It is the entrepreneur checklist topic, which is top tips for scaling your business. Jaff, you've done this incredibly successfully. So here's some top tips for scaling a business successfully. First things first is develop a clear growth strategy and plan. Define your vision for scale and create a roadmap with specific goals and milestones. Ensure you have a strong foundation before scaling. Make sure your core business model, processes, and systems can handle increased volume. Focus on your core competencies and products or services. So don't try to diversify too much too quickly. Invest in the right technology and automation to improve efficiency and handle increased demand. Build a talented team and delegate responsibilities. Hire people who can take ownership of key areas as you scale. Standardize and document your processes. Create systems that can be easily replicated as you grow. Maintain your company culture and values. Make sure rapid growth doesn't erode what made your business successful. Secure adequate funding and manage cash flow carefully. Growth requires capital investment. Focus on customer retention and loyalty, not just acquisition. Keeping existing customers is crucial for sustainable growth. Continuously optimize your business model. Look for ways to increase revenue without proportionality increasing costs. Build strategic partnerships to expand your reach and capabilities. Monitor key performance indicators closely and be prepared to pivot if needed. Don't sacrifice quality for quantity. Maintain your standards as you scale up operations and invest in your personal development as a leader. Scaling requires new leadership skills and mindset. And last but not least, be patient and take a long term view. Sustainable scaling takes time and shouldn't be rushed, Jaff. So the key is to grow strategically while maintaining the core strengths that made your business successful in the first place. Careful planning, smart resource allocation, and a focus on operational efficiency are crucial for scaling successfully.
I think you've just given full insight into how scaling should be done. And I think those that are thinking about it, they may not have even looked at all of those points that you've just given away. And in actual fact, to get an understanding of those points, you probably have to go and find a consultant and pay them lots of money to be able to share that information that you've just shared.
Yeah, I mean that's invaluable. That we've developed, ran, scale up organizations. I mean, it's wonderful to see some of the businesses that we've supported, especially in Tees Valley, where they came with an idea. They came through an accelerator program. They've scaled, and now they're developing BBC documentaries. Some of the top tech firms in Teesside, the gaming companies. One of them sold out, I think, for like £20 million. We helped them start the business. So you just think it is about the right people at the right time. And I'm not suggesting we have all of the answers, But even those lists, Jeff, and the reason why I'm sharing that and value your insight is because actually, as an entrepreneur, you've successfully scaled, and it'd be really interesting. So from those points, from planning, from business model, core competencies, right technology, build talented teams, standardize documents, maintain your company culture, funding, customer retention, continuously optimize, strategic partnerships, key performance, don't sacrifice quality, invest in your personal development, and be patient. I know there's 15 there. What would you say is the most important?
I think the most important is if you have created successful values that work, that has to be the fundamental basis upon how you move forward and expand, regardless of what other professionals come around your team. They might be highly competent, but those core values is something that must be drilled within them when they come to you. So we've just done this actually a couple of weeks ago.
No, that's why I'm asking. That's exactly why.
We've got a bigger team, and what sits in the heart of our core value, right? If you've got a bullseye, if you imagine that right in the bullseye is the main core value, and everything else goes around that. So right in the bullseye, we have family orientation, because we want to have a family mentality, and the love and care that you would give each other. But on the same token, if you have a disagreement, you have an argument in the daytime, or because you're sat around the table as a family, you would then go and have dinner in the evening and put everything away, because you have that closeness. And that's the kind of philosophy that we want to instill within the newer people that come to us from corporate backgrounds, where family orientation may not have been a key value for them, but it's key to us because that's the heart and soul of our origins, and that's something that we want to maintain. So, that's just an example of a similar type of exercise. And every business is going to be different and have different core values. But I think you begin with that, Ammar, and then you retain that throughout. And I feel that that's helped us a lot.
Yeah, and it's about, they say, stick to your knitting, is what they say. If you're good at something and these are your values, and everybody understands those values and what value you create, capture, and deliver, right? Then obviously that's what got you to there. What I've seen, and are so many people who then go, right, we've got one, we want to go to two, right, we've got two, we're now going to 20, and actually we're going to add this, and this, and they lose their core key identity, and they've scaled, they haven't got enough money, they haven't got the right people, and I mean, the sign of madness is keep doing the same things and expecting a different result, right? And actually, as a leader, you need to develop yourself. You need to get the right mentoring. You might even not be the right person to drive the business forward, right? That's one of the biggest challenges. And I've seen this, and I've acknowledged this personally. As in, I'm now sort of saying, okay, I'm not the right person to take this business forward, and actually I want to bring someone else in to run it. So that's what I've done. I'm bringing someone else in to do that. And that takes a lot of courage, to sort of go, well, I've built this business up, it's doing well. We run lots of programs. We've got hundreds of customers. We, deliver all of these services, but actually, I want it to grow even more. I want to scale it, and in scaling it, it's a case of being able to hand off and know your limitations.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you do to learn stuff, Jack?
Come on, speak to you.
Well, I've talked to you as well.
No, John,
That's good. That's good.
if I'm unsure about something, I'll give yourself a call, and if there's any others who have specialist knowledge in a particular field that I don't have, then obviously you would turn to people just for guidance and clarification. So yeah, I think you have to do that.
Cool. The football, Jalf. What's happening?
Sorry, there.
Football.
Oh,
Football. We're just lucky of it, as in it goes back to that. You know, the first match. I just, you know, I respect you saying a win's a win, but
yeah.
I just felt it wasn't like the best football.
Yeah.
You know, and then last week, who did we play last week? It was away, wasn't it?
Bournemouth away. We managed to get a draw.
Yeah.
Not Forest away. We were better than them, but at the end of the day, they had chances as well. But we got a draw and we won on penalties. And I have to say, we've got off to a very average start, but at least we've got the points on the table and we're through to the next round. So it is positive. But the biggest disappointment at this stage is trying to get this deal through for Matt Weahy. And we've got 70 million quid on the table and they're just dilly-dallying and they're not saying no. I mean, what are you supposed to do, Ammar, in that situation?
What's the deadline, Jalf? Is it not this weekend?
Deadline's tonight at 12 o'clock, but I'm not upset with the club for not pushing through that deal because they've put 70 million quid on the table. And what are they supposed to do?
Yeah. But people just turned greedy, didn't they? Everything got inflated when Newcastle United then was taken over.
Yeah, of course, and they can't do any more than that. And if someone's going to rip your eyes out of my, at the end of the day, it is business, and he would walk away from the deal because if someone's, you know, taking the biscuit, which Palace they absolutely are, then everyone's got a bit of pride, and even from Eddie Howe to the team, they must have had a collective meeting and said, you know what, look, enough is enough. We have to walk away from this deal. And Eddie probably says, actually, look, I'm not gonna begrudge if we do because this is just, you know, they are taking the biscuit, and look. We will get on this season with what we have, and hopefully let's have a look at the summer. Let's have a look at the January window now and see what we can do.
Cool. Inclusion by default. Anyway, we're playing Tottenham. Is what we are. I'm looking forward to it. I just would like to see a different type of result, and you know, I think. There's some good games, like big ticket games coming up as well. I mean, it was great to see Tonali, you know, back. I think it was a wonderful start. You know, you get really excited. You know, it was like that. Anyway, you've been listening to Ammar and Jalf.
FM 98.8 FM.
Week.
A 13